Greetings! It's time for the next struggle between the Epirote and the Romans in Italy, and it's now 279 DC, so there has been some time since the last battle at Heraclea, which we played last time, and since then that was a Pyrrhic victory. So after that the Romans had to retreat, and Pyrrhus could, with his army, move about in southern and also in the more up on the central Italy and conquering tribes, or not conquering, but actually he was getting a bit more support from the tribes all over the southern Italy, and he got those people into his ranks, so his army really grew during this phase. So when we reach this year, they have about 40,000 men in the army. Apparently he was also setting forth to conquer Rome itself, so he moved up there, but at some point it just came clear to him that it was more or less an impossible task to conquer Rome, because, well-defended city and loads of people, and you know the thing with Rome, they can just pop up new armies or legions really quick, and in a way that the Epirotes or Pyrrhus could not cope with. So he actually swung away from Rome and started to conquer Apulia instead, which is on the southeastern part of the Italian peninsula. It's kind of close to the boot heel there. So there he was with his now really big army, when the Romans also appeared there with a pretty much the same size of an army, under two consuls, Decius and Sulpicius. So they marched over there to meet the Pyrrhus and try to get a decisive fight with him there. So both sides were pretty confident that they could win the battle here, and of course it could have swung either way. So the Romans, who knew that Pyrrhus still had these elephants, now they had like 19 elephants left, or at least it was 19 of them deployed for this battle, which is represented by this unit back here. The Romans, because of that, they had constructed like 300 of special anti-elephant wagons that could hurl missiles and be some protection for the crew, and they thought they could get that elephant with that weapon. So they were eager to fight, even though they know that now we will face this elephant boosted army again. So close to Asculum they met, and apparently there was a river here, and they come to an agreement that they should meet and do a battle on plain terrain. So actually the Epirotes, both armies, they camped on either side of the river, but the Epirotes after an agreement with the Romans, let the Romans to wade over the river unmolested, and then they could array their troops and they could do the battle in a more honest way. And for the battle itself, there are three main versions left for us, or three relations of this battle. And the quite funny thing is that they differ a bit, both in how the battle went, how long it took. Some says it was several days or 2 days, and also they differ in who won the battle. There is one account, I think it was Dio, who said that the Romans actually won the battle, and there was some other guy who said that, I don't remember who of them it was, maybe it was Dionysius, who said that the Epirots actually won the battle, or that it was kind of a draw, you could say. Both sides lost a lot of troops and no decisive ending to it. But something that seems to have appeared at some point in the battle is that some of the Roman allies managed to go around the battlefield somewhere in a flanking maneuver and end up behind the lines in the Epirot camp. And there's also some different versions of what happens there. One is that, which is a pro-Roman relation to it, it's that they took the camp, and that more or less created the confusion in the Epirot ranks, so they started to flee, and because they wanted to secure the camp, so they went backwards, and by that the whole army came in a disarray, meaning that Pyrrhus had to withdraw from the battle and retreat back towards Tarentine for winter quarters. The other version of that is that, okay, they approached the camp, but before they could attack the camp, Pyrrhus got aware of that, so he sent some of his troops from the lines back to the camp to attack them and drive them off, which they succeeded in. So there are some different versions, but that didn't have a big impact on the battle, because when they were driven off, they could return to the battle, and eventually, with the help of the elephants, they again managed to rout the Romans, and Pyrrhus was the victorious one. So a few different versions there. I'm not really sure what this historical background goes with, but I think it's somewhat relates to Dionysius' version, I think. But the numbers, I think, is a later number it's not any of these three relations numbers, but some later guy who wrote about this battle. Anyway, it's thought that both sides had about 40,000 men. And as I said, Pyrrhus had been able to draft troops from southern Italy, so he had, as it says here as well, Greeks. This means mostly probably Tarentines, but also others, Tarentines who fought with, as it was said, white shields in their phalanxes. We have Samnites and Lucanians, so pretty good warriors here, and we know about the hatred against Rome within these people. So I think they were good soldiers to field against Rome here. And the Romans were not alone either, so they brought some a large bunch of allies with them, mostly from central Italy and also the eastern parts of central Italy, you could say. So many tribes as allies here. But the thing is that Rome itself brought here 4 legions, and since we have 4 medium-heavy infantry here, I think you could say that each of these units represent 1 legion, and they were fielded, well, if I remember correctly from what I read, they were more heavy here on the left, so we have 2 legions on the left-hand side, and that would be the 1st and 3rd legions. The 4th legion, I think, was placed in the center, and the 2nd legion more to the right, and that should be this unit. And then we have some 2 units of Triarii, who's is a composite of these 4 legions. We also, on the right-hand side, we see these allies I was talking about. So they were kind of intermingled within between the legionary troops to boost their ranks here. But in this battle we will see them deployed here on the right hand side. And of course we have some lights in the up front, velites and maybe other javelin throwers, and some cavalry on the flanks, as it should be. On the Epirot side, well, in the center we see these heavy phalanxes. It's the men from Epirus, and I think there also includes Tarentines here. As I said, the guys with the white shields fighting on this side. We also have some medium heavy troops here, but I guess that could be some heavier spearmen from, well, Italian tribes. And it was said that the Samnites was deployed on the Epirot left, so I guess this warrior unit here actually represent some Samnites. That would make sense, they were fierce warriors. And then pretty strong cavalry wings here, so there we have Tarentine, probably some Thessalians as well, and back there the elephants. So pretty, I'd say, kind of evenly matched armies, not cavalry wise though. There we have a better number of troops on the Epirot side for sure, but maybe a bit more infantry heavy here then. And well, let's just move on to the War Council. So we have the Epirot army here under Pyrrhus. They got 6 command cards here. The Roman army under the 2 consuls, Decius and Sulpicius, they will only have 4 command cards. They are a bit more in a dangerous situation here. They will move first though. By the way, the consul Decius was about to do a devotio in this battle, and that was, you know, he would rush himself towards the enemy lines, more or less to sacrifice himself against the enemies here, and by that get the favor of the gods. He had some forefathers who did this, the Decii clan, so they were famous for this devotio thing they did, and he was about to do this, as I said, but he did eventually not do it, because there were rumors about it that he would do that, and the rumor spread over to the Italian tribes here, and they got really nervous because they thought that if he does it, the Romans will get the gods on their side, and that's not a good thing. But Pyrrhus did convince them that it will have no effect, and he even sent some guy over here to tell them that please don't do that devotion because that will not help you at all, we will crush you anyway. And the Romans responded like, okay, we won't do it because we will crush you anyway without doing the devotion. So there was some pre-battle in words before this, right? So kind of epic thing happening here. Anyway, so 4 command cards and move first for the Romans, and they will, or the side who gets 6 banners first will win the battle. Now, for special rules, we have one special rule here, and it's about the leaders. You see the leaders are just deployed on the side here with any unit, it says. And the thing is, in a normal play you would look at your cards and then you place your leaders. But since I'm playing Solitaire, I have already deployed these leaders, and I'm just going to show you where I did it. So I did more or less kind of a traditional thing. I put one leader here in the infantry line on both sides, so we can imagine that is Epirus there, and here is one of the consuls, and the other guy I put with the cavalry. So we have one of the consuls here with the medium heavy cavalry, of course on the right hand side, the most honorable place. The same goes there, so the other Epirot army leader I put there on the right hand side on the medium heavy cavalry as well. So this is how I'm going to go, and this is before I have checked the cards. And as you can see, we have a 2-card difference between the Epirotes and the Romans. This means I have played 2 extra cards on the Epirote card rack here, or card display. So we have 2 on the A slot and 2 on the D slot. So they have a bit more flexibility when it comes to playing cards in this battle. Yeah, and actually I think more or less we checked the troops already when I talked about the scenario, right? So we have the 4 legions here with the Triarii and Auxilia there. We have the skirmishes in front and cavalry on the flanks. Pretty default setup of a Roman consular army. Over here, yeah, we have the Epirotes and Tarentine heavy phalanxes in the center. Italian spearmen probably on the flanks. Maybe other Italiots. And then we have the Samnites, I think, as the warriors here. We have some bow units. I know there was some Greek light infantry at least deployed in this battle, so these could be these guys, both armed. And then we have on both flanks a medium heavy and a light cavalry. As I said, probably Tarentine and probably Thessalian, probably other Greek cavalry as well. And back there we have the 19 elephants ready to charge if needed. There's no special rules about these wagons that the Romans did deploy, but since we don't have the elephant fear anymore in this battle, I think that's how it's reflected in this scenario. Anyway, what else? Well, do we have some battle plans? Well, I guess we do, but nothing too fancy, because both sides I see as pretty much even. So for the Romans, I think they want to get their hands dirty pretty soon. They just want to march in and start the big fight between the legionary war system and the phalanx, or battle system you should say, perhaps. So they want to get in there and start a fight, hoping to get the banners by that. I think I'm going to go a bit more easy on the flanks, because we are not as many as those guys are in the flanks, and we should be wary about those elephants. So some velites should be ready to throw the javelins against those beasts if they appear. On the Epirote side, same thing. I want to march forward. We have really many heavies here. We just want to start moving our spears forward, and hopefully can get in a good warrior charge somewhere. And we could be a bit more aggressive on the flanks as well. See if we could envelop the flanks, scare off the enemy cavalry, and then we could do some hit and run things on the flanks here, or hammer and anvil attacks together with the infantry would be nice if we get that far, but we'll see about that. The cards, as usually, will decide also how the plans will play out. So by that, let's start, and it's Rome who starts. So let's start by checking the A and B cards. Okay, we have 2 line commands. I think that suits them well, because they can move up their whole colossi of an army towards those guys. But let's see what cards we can play. Okay, it's D or E, so it's not one of these line commands. D or E, meaning leadership any section or 2 units right. Okay, interesting. What do we want to do? We want to start moving forward, but keeping the line somewhat intact. Where should we hit if we put it that way? Well, I could think of, trying to avoid that flank as much as possible, because I don't want to face those elephants. So maybe we should start moving on our right. We should perhaps move our left anyway, because we are stronger here. We have a bit stronger. We could, of course, play here and start shifting towards the center with this flank. I think that could be something. So I will play the leadership any section, and that will be that leader, and then 3 units. So let's move forward like this. So the legionaries start trampling forward. Going with the velites in front of them. I don't like I'm now in the range of one of the bow units, but that's how we need to do, because we can only go 1 with the... No, I can go 2 with those guys. This is not a line command, so we could go 2 and start hurling our javelins. Let's do that. So we are also in range. So we go forward there, but these guys go only 1, of course, so they just follow. And I still keep my line, except for that unit, the skirmisher there. So if we... Well, here's a break, though. That's not good. It's not good if we get those guys lagging behind. So actually, I will not move up that leader. I want to keep this line, because I know I have some line commands coming up. So I want to keep all this intact, so when I get the line commands, I can move the whole bunch forward. I want to do that. So basically, these guys just stays to keep the command line intact. Okay, so let's hurl the javelins towards those bow units there, or the bow unit. That's a blue one, so not a hit. Let's do like this so we don't get too much light on the... Yeah, something like that. Okay, so that was a miss. Yeah. First activation done. And now it's Purus. And let's see what cards hides behind there. Slot A and B, we have a leadership any section. We have 4 units left. And in the B slot we have 4 units right. Pretty cool and good cards there. Let's see. A or B? So any of these 3 cards I could play now. Either 4 on a flank or a leadership any section. I think I go with one of the flanks, and could of course fire back here if we activate this flank. Should we? Maybe we should. Maybe we should go with that flank. Or we counter on that flank, because here is where the Romans have started moving forward. We could even bring up our elephants a bit. That could be really nice, right? So that's good in that sense. Activating that flank is good, because then we could fire back as these guys. Let's see what the god says. 1 to 3 it's that flank, 4 6 it's that flank. It's a 6, so let's do this flank. So I will activate the whole bunch here. We will start marching towards this flank, and that could be cool because the Romans are a bit weaker here. The Auxilia and Lights, we have this medium heavy cavalry with the leader, which is extremely dangerous for us, but I think we can do something here. We could actually even do a warrior charge already here towards those guys. They will evade, of course, but we will roll 4 dice. But let's take it a bit easy. So I'm just gonna move these guys forward. The light cavalry, I will move, let's see, if you move here we could throw the javelins. If they retreat, they are out of range for our bows. That's not good. They are a bit dangerous. But let's do it anyway. I wanna move here with my light cavalry. And with my mediums, let's put ourselves in strike range here. Let's put them here. Alright, so these guys didn't move. So I will... Who should we fire with first? If I throw the javelins first and I get the flag, then these guys will be out of range. But of course I have scared them back, so that's cool. Best would be to get a green, and then we could fire with 2 dice. But I will do that. I take my chances. I'll attack with the cavalry first. So here comes the javelin throwing thing, and that was a miss. So now we fire with the bows, 2 dice. And that's 1 hit. Great, so the velites start taking some damage here. And that was the 4 units left. So we replaced it with a new card, and that's the Clash of Shields. Very, very cool, but for a later turn, of course. Yeah, that's it. So let's continue with the Romans. It's an A, B, or C. So we have the line commands, and we have what? A double time. Alright, I mean, a few line commands and then a double time. That could be the perfect combination for the Roman army right now. So we're gonna do the line command now. Let's play it from A. So that will be all these guys, and also the triarii here in the back. So now we're gonna send forth our skirmishers to try to do some damage. No, it's a line command. It's a line command. I can only go 1. Okay. So let's see. Let's start from this flank in that case. We go here. These guys can hurl their javelins. And then let's just start moving forward with the rest of the army here. Here goes the consul, followed by his triarii, and these guys move forward. We're gonna close into those phalanxes. I mean, if you can move 1 more and then do the double time, that would be pretty cool. The cavalry is left behind now, but that's cool. They are kind of protecting the flank here. So if the Tarentine cavalry does an attack here, we can answer with our cavalry and also infantry and hurl javelins and whatnot. So this is pretty cool. And our flank is also protected by these velites here, so we can, we can always retreat if they attack us, or evade is the correct term. All right, but we have one battle to do, and that's a ranged one. So we're gonna throw the javelins against who? Let's take the medium heavy cavalry. They are more dangerous. That's a red, so it was a miss. But this is looking good. This is looking nice. So replace that one, and now it's time for the Epirotes. Now they see the Romans are coming really aggressively against them, so let's see what they can respond with. C, D, or E at least is the cards we can play, and all these are the hidden ones. So let's see. 3 units right, okay. Then we have medium troops, inspired left leadership. We don't have any leader left, so we could also use these to order one unit. And then we have heavy troops. All right. So C, D, or E. We could move 3 from here. That could be interesting. We could do some cavalry harassment already. What if we do the medium troops? Well, we could start moving forward. Yeah, actually we could do a... here's a nice thing, a bit dangerous though. We could, if we play the medium ones, we could ride with the medium heavy cavalry there. Those velites are then trapped. Then we do a warrior charge, kill those guys off. And if we don't kill them, we could finish off them with some cavalry. But if we do finish them off, we have the cavalry free to attack something else, maybe the enemy cavalry here. So that would be a cool attack here. And on this flank we could also send in our mediums to scare off those velites. Okay, we're gonna be hit by a counterattack here. Interesting though. Heavy troops, I don't think that's what we want to do now, but why not? We could move up our heavy phalanxes in line here and bring the elephants also forward. Could be something. Or we have inspired left leadership. Yeah, that's one unit of choice. I don't think I want to use that right now. So it's one of these 3 options with some different outcomes and aggressivity tied to them. Let's see. Well. Heck, I'm gonna roll again for it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6. That's a 3, so we play the medium ones. So this is gonna be maybe the most aggressive variant of these plans I had. So I can order up to 6 mediums. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm gonna go all in here now and try to disrupt the Roman lines now. And the warriors will go in and charge. Maybe even go here instead. I'm out of range from those javelins. And these guys will just start moving forward. And we do an attack here as well. We're gonna scare those guys away. We could even attack those guys by moving so, but I don't think it's worth it right now. I'm afraid of that retaliation. So I'm gonna hit those guys. I know they're gonna evade, but we might hit some. Okay, so let's see. We could start here actually. So yeah, those guys will try to evade, but I will roll my 3 dice, hope for some green. No hits though, so these guys got away, but I scared them off. I will retreat them back here so I still keep the line. So these guys cannot do any momentum advance by that. Then we have these attacks, and now it's really important. So these guys will now attack the velites who cannot evade. Since we have a full strength warrior, I will get 4 dice. And the good thing for the Epirotes here is that that guy is not supported right now. So if we roll flags, they will take heavy casualties, and that's what I'm hoping for here. Let's see what the Samnites can do. Well, that's 2 hits and 1 flag, and I think that's enough. If you first take the 2 hits, bam, and then we need to do the retreat, and Velites needs to retreat 2 hexes. They cannot retreat even 1, so they lose both of these. So that was a kind of a lucky roll, and we got this one. And now comes the fine part of this. The Samnites are fierce warriors, so they will actually go in and they can do a bonus attack. So these guys are now the next target. So here comes a new one, 4 dice again. But this time the momentum was already spent, that's for sure. There were no hits at all against those auxiliaries there. So we have 2 Italian tribes, men from Italian tribes here facing each other. This wall of shields stayed firm, and now they will hit back. That is 3 dice though. Well, they managed to get 1 hit, and that's pretty important because now the special warrior features goes away. You know, these 4th battle die, and also the thing that they can stand 1 flag. So this was pretty important by these guys to stand fast and then hit back at least with 1 hit. Anyway, we have another attack. We have the cavalry here. Let's say it's the Thessalian cavalry, and they will now attack the Roman cavalry. These guys are not supported by, they have a leader, so they can ignore 1 flag. But we have 3 dice. And we hit them with 1. Bam. And we have a flag, but we need to check first if that consul survived. He did, so this means they can ignore this flag. And now hit back with 3. And that was 2 hits and a flag. So we took 2 hits here. Bam, and then we need to flee 3 hexes, but I think I'm happy with that because now we might get away. So 1, 2, and 3. Alright, that was some action, right? Pretty good charge by those Samnites though. But even though this charge was not that successful, well, they got 1 block here. The most important part was that they hindered the guys from the Velites to retreat. So all the guys who retreated, they just did slaughter here. So we got the whole unit there. That was good. So here we go. You get a new card for them. And time for the Romans again. D or E. Mounted charge or 2 units right. Well, I think the mounted charge must be played now. We have a golden chance to hit back. So I will not even consider it's a mounted charge. So these guys will now do the anticipated counter charge against that medium heavies, and these guys will do a bold move now. They go 1, 2, and 3, and they will attack that lone block there who cannot evade. And because I hope to get them, and then I can do another attack, you know, and that could be pretty cool. So here we go. Let's start here. We have 3 from the beginning, but the 4th dies or die because of the mounted charge card. So we have 4 dice against that 1. No leader with us though. So let's see, that's 2 hits and a flag. Okay. 2 hits. And then we need to check the leader. Let's do that. He's fine. 2 reds rolled. So I got the flag, so I can do one of 2 things. I can battle back now, or I take that flag voluntarily and go back 3 hexes. But you know what? It's our turn next time, so I might get away with these guys. I will hit back now because I have the leader with me, so I want to make some advantage of that. So let's see, we hit back at the Romans with this roll, and this is pretty devastating because that's 2 flags, and these guys cannot take even 1. I mean, they are not supported, so they must go 1, 2, 3, and then comes the other flag, 1, 2, 3, and all these blocks are eliminated by that, or they flee from the battleground. So they did a glorious charge, hit hard. Many of the Greeks died in that, but they managed to rally and hit back very hard and basically scattering off the Roman cavalry. So now this flank is open. And as you can see, there's not even 1 Roman piece on this side of the board now. That's interesting. And we should get the second victory banner for the Epirotes. That was cool. But the Romans are not done yet. They have another attack coming in. So it's 4 dice against that lone Epirote medium heavy cavalry. We need 1 hit. We rolled 2, so these guys are dead. We get the Roman first victory banner. So, now's the question. First we must go in. Now we can go 1 more. And I see 2 options. Either we go back, hit those warriors hard, or we go forward 1 more and hit that cavalry instead, because they cannot evade or retreat in that case. The bad thing is that we are in a really bad position here. We could easily be trapped and killed off here. And I'm a bit afraid of that, so I will actually go back and attack that warrior unit instead. They can now not ignore any flags because they are decimated. So it's 4 dice thanks to the mountain charge card. Let's see. And that's 3 hits. 1, 2, and 3 hits. We had the leader with us. So this warrior unit is actually eliminated. Wow. This is fierce action. So 2 banners to each. And I will actually go back. I will take the momentum second time and return to my lines. So the Romans were really victorious here. I'd say the Greeks more here because, okay, they got hit hard, but the retaliation was really, really hard on those Romans. They didn't die, but they couldn't stand this pressure anymore, so they fled. Maybe the smell of the elephant started to come forth, and the horses sensed it. So yeah, good charge there. And you could say the Romans were able to more or less neutralize this unit anyway. I mean, the Epirotes really needs to bring that back now, or they will be killed. So, now it's the Epirotes. Let's see how they can respond then. It's an A, B, or C. So, Clash of Shields, leadership any section, order 4 units right or 3 units right. And that suits me really good. I think I even play the 4 units right now. So one thing, I want to get away with those guys. I think I even want to move my leader to another position. The third activation will be to put in some fire. And the 4th unit will be these guys. I will start harassing the enemy now with some light cavalry. Since we have no cavalry threat against us, we are free to move with these light cavalry now and harass. Okay, we have a Velite unit here who could counter us, but at least we can start throwing some javelins against the 1st legion of the Romans. So let's start with bringing back the horse. 1, 2, 3. This guy will relocate to that spear unit there, or medium heavy infantry. Those guys will not move at all, and these guys will move 1, 2, 3. That's it. So let's start hurling javelins from here. Those legionaries are not supported. But that was a miss. But now we are in place to throw javelins if we don't get chased away. So, second attack, bow attack, same unit as the target. And that was a miss as well. So no good skirmish, but anyway, I'm happy I got away with this guy and got the leader to a better place now. So, by that new card there, I think I'm happy with this session, and so far I really like this battle. It can really go either way, and we will see some heavier clashes coming in soon because the lines are really moving here, and we are really close to each other already. So the banner count is 2 against 2 for both sides, so even fight so far. Only 4 more together for one side, and then we have a victory. Maybe we see that already in the next video. So, thank you for watching, and see you again in part 2. Bye bye.